We're here with.
Auggie Houston.
What did you do today?
I top 8 regionals, the Niagara regionals. I came 6th.
All right, nice. What did you play today?
The best worst deck, branded.
All right. See the list?
Yeah, so it's a 40 card list. I don't think you can play this deck any more than 40. It has too much inconsistency problems, and you just want to see what you want to see. So 40 cards. 3 Aluber. This is standard. It's just your starter. It's the best normal summon going first. Going second, Albaz is probably the better normal summon, depending on your hand, but yeah, this is standard. Then the other 2 Despia cards, 1 Adlib and 1 Tragedy. This card a lot of people haven't been playing in the last little while, but I think the identity of the deck has changed a lot since Expulsion is gone. The deck is all about like graveyard recursion now with Quem and this card, and I don't play Puppet, so this card is incredibly important to set up if you're going first. And then, yeah, Tragedy. Tragedy. Next, we're playing 3 Albaz. Some people maybe are playing 2 now, but again, the deck is all about Quem and graveyard recursion, so 3 is really important. It doesn't matter that Diablosis is gone and there's less cash tier hitting your cards away, so 3 is still really important. You want to see it going second. It's a really good normal summon going second, so for sure I still recommend playing 3. Also, one more thing about Albaz, it's good to draw as well, because if you draw Cartesia with it, this can just start your plays. You don't even need Branded Fusion, honestly. Sometimes just these 2 cards is enough. So yeah, segueing into that, 2 Cartesia and Quem. These are the 3 best cards in the deck. This card is insane. There's a world maybe where you actually play 2 of these, but I haven't tested it enough, so I'm not totally sure. But there was a game today, so I played against, I lost, but basically just this card was enough to sit there and have a chance to win. I lost because he had Bell, unfortunately. You'll see, I'm going to get to it later. I set Fusion, kind of spoiling it, but I set Fusion Duplication. He had Bell for it, unfortunately, but sometimes you can just set this up and just chill and let them play, and then on their turn, this is just enough to get you there. So yeah, it's all about playing. It's kind of like, it's reminiscent of tier, I would say. These cards let you play on their turn, and it's like really important. Like summoning this off Quem, or like whatever you're doing, even summoning this guy. So yeah, the best 3 cards in the deck for sure. And then the Albaz Friends, these 2. You need it for grinding. Lets you like recycle Branded Fusion. This is just like protects your plays. It's like another negate on the end board. Turn 1, I usually just set up like Mirror Jade, Grand Guignol, Adlib, Red, Lost with this in hand, and it's like 5 or 6 interruptions, and like they usually can't break it, and if they do, they have nothing left, and then I just have follow-up with either this or some way back to Branded Fusion. I'm still playing the Bestial package. I think you have to play it because Lost is such a good card. Yeah, I'm a little bit iffy on these cards, but it's good. And then still playing the Dragoon. Against like Striker, it's really hard for them to deal with. It's kind of a win more card, but when Dragoon hits the board, it's usually like the game ends right there. Also, say it came up today a lot, they would brick going first and pass to me. I would just make Dragoon and then like summon 1 or 2 other bodies and just hit them and kill them. So yeah, definitely still want to play Dragoon. 2 Ash. This is mostly for crossout, honestly, but it's an okay hand trap. Yeah, not much to be said about it. Yeah, this maybe the best card in the deck. Actually, maybe better than Quem and Cartesia, but yeah, this card's crazy, obviously. I got ashed a lot today, actually. I won a lot without this card. There was a lot of games where I literally didn't even activate Branded Fusion, and it still wasn't even close. So the card's insanely strong, but if you don't activate it, you don't auto-lose. 3 Opening. This card got so much better after Syac. A lot of the times I'll just Branded Opening into Quem and then have a Cartesia and like do nothing and just pass turn, and then it's just enough. Yeah, it's really good. Next, Deployment. Like I said, Cartesia is one of the best cards in the deck, so yeah, this is Cartesia. And then occasionally, like, you get to summon Albaz. Like, if you're going second, it's like a good way to bait a negate or something, and then you can play. So yeah, 3 fusion deployments. This card is, like, so insane. If you're ever resolving the effect of this card, like, you can't lose the game. This card is insane. and this is why I play Rebellion. Just you want to see this. In red, there's a world where I want to play 2 of this now. I didn't play any Labyrinth today, but this card is like very necessary against the trap decks and like interacting like in the middle of a chain. So yeah, this card is really good. Maybe you want to play 2, but for now 1 is okay. Because usually you just make the M board, you set this, you ad lib with this, and the game's over, so you don't need the second one. But I could see if the format was a little slower, this second one could be pretty good. So this is going to be different. Only 2 crossout and 1 called by. Crossout is a lot less good now because the expulsion is gone. If you didn't get ashed before and you had crossout, you could cross out the puppet and then like expulsion from the banish, which was like a lot better than having it in your graveyard. But now that there's no expulsion, you can't do anything from the banish. So if you draw this and they don't ash you, it's essentially a dead card unless you're playing the mirror. So yeah, it's a good card, but you don't need 3, and the reason you don't need 3 is because of other answers I'm playing to Ash. So before we get to that, the 1 Foolish is a consistency card. Sometimes you can't get to Grand Guignol and you can't dump Adlib or whatever, and this just does that. Or it can start your play, dump Tragedy, like whatever. It's just a consistency card. I sided out a lot going second. So here's where the deck gets a little spicy. This is the Thrust package, so I was expecting a lot of Sprite, which I did play a decent amount of Sprite. This is like probably the best going second card because right now the boards are like, they have Omni Negates, so if you play evenly, you can't really you gotta like waste cards to get through the Omni Negate. Whereas with this, it's just, you just Dark Ruler them, they have no spell traps, or like maybe 1, it's not a big deal, and you just break their board and the game's over. Thrust. So the idea is, the reason I'm playing less crossouts is because this is an answer to Ash. So if you get ashed and you have this card, you just thrust into this.
Oh, that's nice,
Yeah, you thrust into this, you set it, and now Branded Fusion's in the graveyard. On their turn, you just flip it, and you're Branded Fusioning on their turn. It's really good, but it's actually a little fragile. So today, my 1 loss today, I lost to the guy who won the event. Shout out to him. He played Flu. In game 2, I had basically nothing. Like, I was playing the very conservative style. I just had Cartesia, and I basically put Branded Fusion in Grave with Albion and set this. And it would have been enough to get me there, but he had Ghost Spell. So because this card banishes to copy the effect, not for a cost, like for effect, you can bell this. So like, I got crowed once on Branded Fusion, I got belled once on Branded Fusion when I set this, and like, I mean, yeah, you just lose those games. But this card, I definitely resolved it where I was copying Branded Fusion, and my opponent was like, wait, what's happening? And you just win. And then just 1 talent. Talents is like an insane card right now because everyone's like playing everyone's activating effects. Like going second, this card's insane. Like either their board is a bunch of effect monsters and like they have to activate them, or they're hand trapping you. So this card is like always live. The reason it's only 1, like I would play 3. Like if I'm playing cash, I'm playing 3 of this. But in branded, this card's not as good because you can't like do Zeus lines and stuff like that. So just the 1, like sometimes just drawing 2 is really good, or like sometimes it comes up where you'll talents them. Take their monster, and then Branded Fusion, like if it's an extra deck monster, you just send it, and then like make Mirror Jade right away instead of going through like the Albion or Lebellion line. So yeah, it's still like a really insane card. You thrust into it sometimes. Yeah, and then the last card, Retribution. This is just for grinding, and actually a lot of times, so say you make a board where you can't, like you don't have Cartesia and you can't make Grand Guignol. If you just set this, like you'll have Albion engraved and Mirror Jade. Once you use the Mirror Jade effect, you have 2 names in grave, and like this is just a solemn warning. And then like now it's in your grave, and now you're Branded Fusioning again on their turn. So yeah, it's a really good card. Not just for the grave effect, like it's a solemn warning. It's still a good card. Extra deck or side deck?
Whichever, yeah.
I'll do extra deck. So for the extra deck, pretty standard. 2 Mirror Jade. Yeah, it's Mirror Jade. 1 Lebellion, you don't need anymore. Anytime you summon it, you're always shuffling it back. Usually you're summoning it under Lost, and I mean, like, if they imperm it or something, you probably have Cartesia, so they can't. But if they do, it's like, okay, they impermed it, you're probably losing, whatever. You don't need 2, though. Like, you don't miss it, the second one, it never comes out. 2 Albion, you have to play 2 because 1 you fuse with, the other one, like, it's either like in the grind game, you'll summon the second one, or often I'll just send it off Mirror Jade for cost, and it lets me get like whatever I need for follow-up in a grind game. The other two things you dump off Mirror Jade, if you can't get to Quem, like put this in the graveyard immediately and get the Quem. Just get the Quem. This one is more so for summoning Albaz in the end phase. Like, say they out your Mirror Jade, and then, or they out whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, and they end up with an extra deck monster. This just summons Albaz, and like you get another Mirror Jade. So these two cards give you another Mirror Jade in the end phase or Quem. So really good. You gotta play both. The other one, Brigrin, there's just no room. Searching Mercurier doesn't matter because you just do it with Lost. So yeah, you don't need to play Brigrin. Rimbrum and Dust Dragon. Sometimes you send this off Mirror Jade. It's like, it came up like a few times today, where you send this off Mirror Jade and then, you know, summon Albaz and Fuse. This card is like insane. I'm pretty much always dumping Adlib with this now, unless there's another better way for me to put it in the grave, but this is basically set up Branded in red, whereas it used to be set up Puppet. You can think of it as like Adlib is Puppet now, so you just, this is the one you put in grave now. You could maybe play two of this, but I just don't have room. Then the two Despians. Queritus is like insane because it's really hard for them to out. They can't beat over it usually, and if they out it, like you're fusing usually or summoning like Aluber and searching. This funny card, I drew one round today against Tri-Sprite. It was a 40-minute game one that I should have won and I lost. I outgrinded him, the game was over and I was about to activate, so he had a 3k beater on board, just a vanilla doing nothing. He draws a card, passes. I had Branded Fusion in hand already, I activated it, and he happened to draw Ash. So I lost the game in 40 minutes, and then game 2 I just summoned this and said go ahead. And then I won, and then we drew because of this card, so yeah, it does something sometimes. And then the boss guys. Dragoon is like, it's not really a win more card, it is, but it's not. Sometimes it's the win con, you have to have this to win. Other times, like a lot of times when I summon this, it's like I said earlier, they'll just pass going first and I'll just summon this. I can't get nib now, and I just pop whatever monster and just hit them and the game's over. This card is insane. Like I said, the deck is all about graveyard recursion now. This card in Quem, insane. Like you make this like usually like turn 2, like after your first board, like on the crackback. Against Striker, this card is like an FTK, like just give them whatever, like an Ash or like any monster, and they just can't activate their quick play spells. This card's insane. You can like recur your Mirror Jade, you can recur like whatever you want. This card's crazy. And then Chimera because Brandon red plays. And then once the Pelia just because it's a good card. That's it for the extra deck. Side deck, I don't know. I'm not too sure about the side deck, honestly. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. 3 Bystials. This is for like, I don't know. There's some more tier. I played 1 tier today. It comes up sometimes in some matchups. It's okay. In the mirror match, it's a good card, obviously. Against Strikers, it's actually pretty good. You hit the Ray. It stops with like some of their recursion. So yeah, it's good. And you know, people are siding Bystials against you too, so it helps you like kind of fight back. And against D-Link, it's good too. And speaking of D-Link, I basically had this card solely for disgusting combo decks that want to search a billion cards. It's good against Striker too. Yeah, it came up a lot today. Actually, one game against Rika, I won. It was 2-0. So game 2, I drew 2 Droll and like a bunch of bricks. Didn't do anything. He bricked. I drolled him. He bricked. Passed. I did nothing. Passed. Drolled him again. So 2 Drolls, drew another Droll for turn, he passed, drolled him again, and then finally like on the 4th turn, I drew an engine card and just killed him, so I literally drolled the guy 3 times. Sorry to that guy, I feel bad. Evenly. This card in combination with Dark Ruler is really good. On its own, it's not great. It's not great. Cyclone, you need this for like Runic. Labyrinth, like you need to chain to stop the lady. Also the big problem with Brand is you get floodgated, like Super Ancient Organism. Like this card just goes in if I think they can like play floodgates, just stop them. And then the last Tikaboo, I never got to side this in because a lot of my rounds I just 2-0'd and I never got to go first post side. But Brandon can abuse this card, so why not play it? It's like an auto win against Rika, Sprite. And that's it for the deck profile.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
Any shout outs you'd like to do?
Yeah, shout out to Dolly's, all the people at Dolly's. I only started playing a few months ago, so playing at Dolly's, like, I've definitely improved a lot. I go to locals all the time, so shout out to Dolly's, shout out to all the people that play there. Shout out to James, shout out to Luca, shout out to all the guys in the Aaron Mills Discord. Yeah, that's it.
All right, congrats. Hopefully we see you do well in that.
Thanks.